Hello YouTube, welcome to the Scorpion Burrow. In this episode we'll take a look at the Heterometrus species, also known as the Asian forest scorpion. There are quite a few scorpions in the Heterometrus species. For example, you've got the Heterometrus longimanus, the spinifer, the Cyaneus, and so on. So when you get a Heterometrus or Asian forest scorpion, it's always a good idea to check what species exactly you have. So we're going to take a look at the Asian forest scorpion. The one you see here in this clip is my Heterometrus longimanus. Here you see it in a glass enclosure. Unfortunately, this enclosure had some issues and I had to move this guy to a temporary enclosure. Whilst I was picking up some stuff to set up this temporary enclosure, I accidentally picked up another Heterometrus scorpion, another Heterometrus longimanus. The one I picked up is a few weeks ago is about in store 4 or 5ish and is the size of a €2 coin now, so that's about 1 inch. In store stands for the amount of molds the scorpion went through. The Asian forest scorpion or Heterometrus species are species of scorpion that live in a jungle environment. So you want a humidity level of about 70 to 80% and a daytime temperature of about 30 degrees Celsius, which is 85 Fahrenheit, with a nighttime temperature of about 20 to 5 degrees Celsius. That's 70-ish Fahrenheit. You will also want to put a water dish in there, since these scorpions really like to drink. Mine even seems to bathe in it after drinking, which looks kind of cool. For substrate I use coco peat, a nice moisty bottom layer with a bit drier top layer, and I've added some springtails to that. I've seen people add potting soil too, but I'm a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to mites and stuff in potting soil, so I just stick to the coco peat. 7 to 8 centimeters of substrate or 3 inches is about the depth of soil you want to add, since these guys, especially when they're small, like to burrow. You want to add a place for your scorpion to hide, but you might also want to consider adding a second hide. One hide could be at the heat source and the other one could be on the cooler side of the enclosure, so the scorpion has a choice of its own what it prefers and where it wants to hang out. I've seen them being kept communal, and they should be a good species to keep communal from what I've read, but I personally don't really want or need to do this. But if you would like to, I've heard that you want to add enough hiding places in that case, and then feed them on a regular basis so they won't get hungry and go cannibalistic on each other. As you see in the clip here, Heterometrus species can climb, but they cannot climb on glass and or plastic walls. They need enough floor space to move and don't really need any height in their enclosure. But some height might be good to prevent some attempts of escaping. But I prefer an enclosure I can completely close off to be sure that they won't escape. Now you'll see a clip of me rehousing the scorpion I had in the glass enclosure and my newest addition, which is also the Heterometrus longimanus. One walking around in the tub is the one out of the glass enclosure that I already had, and the other one is the new addition. I've used a bigger tub and split this up in 2 halves to be able to house them both in there for now. As you can see here, I was waving around with my tweezers explaining everything, etc, but somehow the audio of the video broke down, so I had to voice it over, and so that's why you see me waving about here. One thing I do want to say here is that on the rear side of the enclosure, temporary enclosure, I stick the heat mat up there because preferably you want to get the heat mat from the side and not from the bottom, so that's why you don't see the heat mat, but it's on the side of the enclosure. When you pick up your scorpion with tweezers, you always want to try to pick them up at the third metasomal. That's the third part of its tail. Count this from the abdomen, so from its body, but don't grab it too tight, but firm enough to pick it up, and gentle enough so you won't hurt your scorpion, of course. As you can see, it's still a small little scorpion, but this temporal enclosure is a bit on the small side for him, so I'll try my best to rehouse them again as soon as possible. This here is the new edition, and by the looks of it, it looks in some stage of pre-molt. When a scorpion has an upcoming molt, we call this the pre-molt. The scorpion will go into hiding most of the time and will ignore all food you present at them. Mostly it will be sitting completely motionless in its hide or even out in the open, not moving at all. Smaller scorpions mostly molt within 1 to 3 hours after they start molting. Larger ones can take up to 12 hours for this process. The pre-molt, however, can start weeks before the molting itself, and from what I've read, sometimes even several months, so be very patient with them in this phase. So we're going to rehouse this little one, and this one seems to be an instar 3-4-ish by the looks of it. It seems a bit smaller than its neighbor. Well, off they go, en route to the little hideouts, and then we'll let them be for about 12 to 24 hours before we start feeding them. We just want to make sure that they made themselves at home before we start throwing some tasty crickets at them. In the next video, we're going to see if these little feisty scorpions are hungry, and we'll see how they take care of their food. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.